King Song Taoist glanced at Zhang Xiaofan and said, "The method of blood refinement is sinister and evil. If it weren't for a demon cultist guiding him, how could he have the knowledge and power to refine such a treasure? So, this person must be a spy of the demon cult, and his life must not be spared." King Song, who had always been in charge of the punishment affairs of Qingyun Sect, held a high position and spoke with firmness and strength. Zhang Xiaofan listened to his words, his face pale, almost unable to catch his breath. No one else spoke up, but Tia Bai's face was stern. Slowly, he said, "Even if he really sneaked into our Qingyun Sect with malicious intent, why would he deliberately display his magic weapon in front of everyone?" King Song Taoist snorted and said, "Demon cultists are difficult to predict. Their intentions are inscrutable, and it's not surprising if they do strange things." Tia Bai angrily said, "Aren't you just forcing a far-fetched connection, making baseless accusations?" King Song Taoist coldly replied, "Am I making baseless accusations? Tell me, senior brother Tia, is the method of blood refinement something that we of the righteous path possess?" Tia Bai was speechless, his face flushing red. At this moment, it was clear to anyone that Tia Bai was ultimately standing on the side of his disciple. In this awkward moment, a cold voice suddenly sounded, clearly from the head of the Shaoju Peak. "Master Shu Yu, may I ask, senior brother King Song, when you keep saying that the method of blood refinement is sinister and evil, can you tell us exactly how it is sinister and evil?" King Song Taoist opened his mouth to speak, but suddenly hesitated and could only say, "Do I need to say more about the demonic techniques of the demon cult?" Master Shu Yu's voice was icy. "In that case, senior brother King Song, it seems that you also know nothing about the method of blood refinement. How can you judge this method to be sinister and evil and want to kill this young man?" King Song Taoist looked at Master Shu Yu, his eyes sharp and imposing, and said, "Oh, Sister Shu Yu, what do you mean by that?" Master Shu Yu replied lightly, "Fellow brothers, in this matter, we know little about the method of blood refinement. Although we have heard some rumors, they are mostly speculations. If, by some chance, the so-called method of blood refinement is true, wouldn't we be killing an innocent person? Secondly, this young man is only 16 years old, and his background is clear. To insist that he is a member of the demon cult is perhaps unreasonable." King Song Taoist narrowed his eyes, a sharp gleam in them, and said, "Sister Shu Yu, why are you suddenly defending this young man so strongly today? It's really baffling." A flash of anger crossed Master Shu Yu's beautiful face as she said, "I'm just being fair and objective, and like some people who can't stand it when talents from other branches emerge and fear that they will threaten their own status, they seize on trivial matters and ruthlessly exterminate them without any humanity. In terms of sharp tongue, among the 7 people present, none could compare to Master Shu Yu." King Song Taoist was so angry that his face turned white, and he stood up suddenly. ZhuXian true person quickly intervened, saying, all right, why are you arguing again? Sit down, sit down." King Song Taoist didn't dare to ignore the words of the sect leader and sat back down with resentment. On the other hand, Master Shu Yu sat upright on her chair, seemingly unconcerned. ZhuXian true person shook his head and turned to the others, saying, "What do you all think?" After a moment of silence, Fengui Peak's head, Zhang Xiaofan, was the first to speak. "Sect leader, I think junior sister Shu Yu's words make sense. This young man has a clear background, and he has never left the sect after joining. It's likely just a coincidence that he obtained this treasure. In fact, it may be a blessing for our Qingyun Sect." ZhuXian true person nodded slightly, and then looked at Tianyin Peak's head, Tianyin Taoist. Tianyin looked at King Song, then said, "I agree with senior brother King Song's approach in this matter." King Song Taoist gained an ally and nodded to Tianyin Taoist. Finally, there was the head of Chaoyang Peak, Shang Jingliang. He looked at Tia Bai and the others, then at King Song Taoist and Tianyin Taoist, and finally glanced at ZhuXian true person. After a moment of contemplation, he said, "I think what junior sister Shu Yu said makes sense." Tia Bai relaxed his face, but King Song Taoist snorted, and ZhuXian true person's expression changed slightly. He looked at Shang Jingliang and said, "You think so too?" Shang Jingliang replied, "I think what junior sister Shu Yu said is reasonable." Tia Bai's face relaxed, but King Song Taoist snorted again. ZhuXian true person nodded and said to Zhang Xiaofan, who was still kneeling on the ground, "Did you hear that?" Zhang Xiaofan was moved in his heart and quickly said, "Yes, thank you. Thank you to all my senior brothers and sisters," then turned to Tiabai, his voice choked with emotion, and said, "Thank you, master." Tiabai waved his hand, but didn't say anything. ZhuXian true person picked up the black shirt stick on the tea table beside him and threw it to Zhang Xiaofan, smiling, "This thing is only useful to you. Take it back." Zhang Xiaofan reached out and caught it, and as soon as he held it, he immediately felt the familiar and cold aura surge through his body, as if it were communicating with him, bringing an indescribable joy. He deeply bowed to ZhuXian true person and said, "Thank you, sect leader." ZhuXian true person smiled and clapped his hands 3 times. Immediately, a Taoist disciple walked over from behind the hole. ZhuXian true person gave a few instructions. The disciple nodded and went out. Before long, he led 3 people in. Zhang Xiaofan looked over and recognized them all. Chai Hao and Zhang Sheshu walked in front, and Zhang Sheshu, while his father Zhang Sheching wasn't paying attention, even made a face at Zhang Xiaofan. As for the woman walking at the back, she was the cold and beautiful Lu Zweki from Shaoju Peak. These 3, plus Zhang Xiaofan, were the top 4 disciples of Qingyun Sect in this 7 Peaks competition.